This is the Nest Protect. It is the smart smoke alarm slash carbon monoxide detector by Nest, also known as Google. And it boasts a bunch of sort of smart features that should theoretically make your life a little bit easier. Today we're going to go over these features as well as setup and installation, as well as ease of use and the ecosystem it falls into. If you want a more detailed written review, head on over to techtechandmoretech.com or check the link in the description below. There are two versions of the Nest Protect, a battery version and a wired version. I have the wired version. The battery version is if you want to put it somewhere where your home may not have the wiring for a smoke detector, so you'd put it there ideally. Okay, so let's start with an unboxing. Got a little sticker right here. Easy if you're not incompetent like me. But let's take a look at what else is in here. We've got the adapter to go obviously onto your ceiling. So there we go. Now let's get it installed. And so now that the unboxing is done, we can get it set up and installed. First you actually get it set up and then you actually install it, because there's a QR code on the back that you have to scan and make sure it works properly. Pretty straightforward. You go into the Nest app on your phone, you sign in with your Google account, or you create a Nest account if you already have one, or if you don't, whatever. Then it just takes you through the procedure of adding the device, scanning the QR code, making sure it works. It will then do a test of itself, which is very loud, so I'd recommend putting it like under a pillow or something. It's going to do those really loud sort of obviously smoke detector noise, and then also check for carbon monoxide. And then once that is done, you're pretty much good to go. You're all set up, and then comes the installation part. The instructions are very straightforward for installation. If you are sort of handy around the house, this isn't really going to be an issue for you. It's just connecting two cables, and that's pretty much it. However, if you're not comfortable with doing any electrical work, you can always call a professional. They'll come and install it for you. Probably best if you have multiple, because then obviously it'll probably be a little bit cheaper per unit. But yeah, installation is very straightforward. You will uninstall your existing smoke detector, and then you will just replace it with this one. So you might have to splice some cables together, or some wires together, which is pretty straightforward. The detailed description is very simple. You really can't mess it up. You connect the white with the white and the black with the black. It comes with a plate that you screw into your ceiling, into like the sort of mounting area, because that's what the actual physical smoke detector sort of clicks into. You kind of put it in there, you rotate it, and then it's kind of secured in place. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it took me about 10 minutes, maybe 15 if you want to be a little bit more careful, depending on like how high your ceilings are and all that kind of stuff. But it's very straightforward. And ideally, once it's installed, just like any smoke detector, you kind of hope you never have to interact with it, right? You kind of hope you never have a fire or anything like that. But we did buy one for a reason, and that reason is a whole bunch of features that should theoretically make your life a little bit easier, a little bit better, a little bit safer. So I'm actually just going to list off the features, because there's a bunch I couldn't test, but then I will sort of go into detail on the ones that I did test and the ones that you would most likely encounter if you had this device. So first off, it has a split spectrum sensor which detects fast or slow burning fires. This is so we can differentiate, I guess, between like furniture burning or just like piece of paper burning or something like that. I would not know how to test this. I can only assume that it works properly, right? If you have multiple of these in your home, it will tell you which one is beeping. So like if you're upstairs in your den, it could be in any number of places, right? It could be like in one bedroom or another bedroom or kitchen or whatever, right? So this will actually tell you, hey, the smoke detector in the kitchen's going off or in the basement's going off. So that's really nice. It will alert you first with a normal voice, and then it will start making the noise. Instead of just blinding you with sound instantly, it'll first tell like, hey, there's smoke, you know, check on the smoke. And then you can hush it from your phone. Which brings us to the feature of you can hush it from your phone. So like I said, if you're cooking and you know the situation's under control, just a whole bunch of smoke, something got burnt, you don't have to go get your ladder and then press the button while it's wailing super loud at you. You can just kind of click on your phone and it'll mute the smoke detector. Obviously, because it's a connected device, it's a smart device, it will send you alerts to your phone. One of them being, for example, if you have to replace the batteries, instead of chirping and waking up at 2 in the morning or whatever, it'll just notify your phone, hey look, batteries are low, go ahead and replace them. That's pretty convenient, right? Like I said, there's a battery and a wired version. So if you do want to put them all over the house, you can use the battery version for that. And lastly, it has a path light function. because it does have a light in the middle of it to kind of show you the status of things. It does have a function where if you kind of walk underneath it in the middle of the night, it will kind of turn on that light and just sort of guide you away if you're going to the bathroom in the middle of the night or going to the kitchen or whatever. You don't want to turn on your lights all the way. So those are all the features that they talk about. Now, like I said, there's a bunch that I couldn't really test, but then what I was able to test was a sort of cooking scenario, and I'm pretty sure like 90% of smoke detectors going off is from the kitchen. So I purposely burnt some bacon to make some smoke, and then kind of put it underneath the fire detector or the smoke detector so that it would go off, so I could actually test all of those functions. So now let's quickly talk about the ecosystem and the compatibility with like your phone and stuff. This will not work with either Alexa nor HomeKit or Siri. That's just how it is. Google has decided to sort of put Nest into its own little category, and they really want to isolate themselves and kind of be an all-encompassing sort of ecosystem. With their first-party products, of course, obviously there are third-party ones that will work with everything. But as far as the Nest specifically goes, usually I would say don't buy something that is locked to one specific ecosystem. So don't buy a product that can only work with Alexa, or that can only work with Apple products, that can only work with Google. However, this is something where A, there's not a lot on the market, and B, it's not a device you're going to interact with a lot. Hopefully, like seriously, hopefully, right? Ideally, you will never interact with this device. Ideally, you will not have a fire, you will not have any smoke issues. The only interaction, fingers crossed, that you will have with this device is every couple of years or whatever, when it tells you, hey, you need to replace the batteries. So for that reason, I think it's sort of exclusive ecosystem and it's not broad compatibility don't really matter so much. I really don't think they're that big of a deal. So if you're looking at getting a smart smoke detector or kind of building out your smart home, this is one you can kind of throw into anything because, again, you're not going to really be interacting with it much. So then all of this brings us to the golden question. Should you buy it? So the smoke detector is $119, so $119, which isn't cheap, but it's not that expensive either for something that you buy kind of once and never again, right? There's also not a lot of competition on the market. The only other one is the OneLink Safe and Sound. There's two versions of those, one that has Alexa built in with a speaker that works with both Alexa and Home. Then they have the new OneLink Safe and Sound as well, the second version that doesn't have a speaker in it. It's a little bit cheaper. So those are your kind of main options. I've not tested the Safe and Sound quite yet. I actually have it right over there. It's going to be tested right after this. I'm guessing it's going to perform pretty similarly, but if you need a smoke detector and you want a smart one so you can kind of control it from your phone, you can kind of monitor things away from your home and be able to not have to get your light every time the smoke goes off, I think the Nest Protect is an excellent option. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll get to them as best I can. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have a smart smoke detector? Would you buy one? Just your thoughts in general. I'm really curious to hear what they are. If you liked the video, found it helpful, hit that like and subscribe button for plenty more content to come. And until next time, see ya.